Hey, welcome back to Unqualified Critics. So yesterday I covered this new MVSX cabinet from Neo Geo, total mouthful. But what we're looking at is a miniature home scale cabinet from Neo Geo with 50 games, and it's meant to look and feel apparently like the old MVS cabinet from Neo Geo. If you guys aren't familiar, and I know many of you are, but just to get everyone caught up, MVS was a multi-cade cabinet. Really, it took cartridges, believe it or not. And so the arcade operator or the cabinet owner could swap out cartridges. And that's why you would see in the marquees, you would see these different titles listed. So it was an early multi-cade. Really cool cabinet, good looking product. We've not really seen anything for the home release. Now, SNK has messed around with a bunch of different products. The Neo Geo Mini, which was like a little mini tabletop arcade, the Neo Geo Gold a few years before that, but they've not done a 3/4 scale kind of cabinet. They've also not done a proper AES Mini. The Gold doesn't count. It wasn't a very good product. So I'd like to see that. That's not what this is. However, we now have some new information, including it will have the arcade ROMs, which is to say the MVS games, but it will also have the AES games. Those are the home versions. I don't know why you would want both. It doesn't hurt to do both. Certainly, you're not losing anything. You still get the arcade official ROMs, but you're also getting the home games. Now, Neo Geo was an interesting beast. The home system, the AES, was expensive. I think it was $5.99 when it released. And we're talking like, 80s rich. You guys ever see old 80s movies? TV shows. Guys in the 80s who were rich had like the coolest lives of anyone on the face of this planet. They'd wear the blue jeans, but they'd have like some expensive custom sweater and they'd drive the convertible. If you look back at the old AES Neo Geo magazine ads, and I'll try and find one to put up here, you can see what I'm talking about. Like these dudes were ballers, and Neo Geo was selling that lifestyle. Hey, forget about the NES or whatever. Buy our system. Have the arcade at home. Plug it into your 900-pound, 36-inch CRT television, and hope you never have to move the TV or whatever, right? And so that's what they were really selling. This cabinet is funny because it's actually more of a deal than a lot of the other arcades. So Neo Geo is normally a top price product. That's been its history. This product, really not so much. It's $500 for the whole stand-up cabinet. You can't see it in this picture, but there is a pedestal, and it's not in this email, but there is a pedestal that this cabinet sits on, and you can buy the whole bundle for $500, or for $450, you can just get the tabletop unit. Now, the new information in this email from yesterday is that November is now the expected release date, November 2020. Previously, we were seeing on their website, actually, October. I actually think that's good news because it's a lot more realistic of a timeline. October was aggressive, and the fact that they're pushing this out a little bit suggests that they are serious about doing a product. Now, if they keep pushing it out and it becomes, the next Atari VCS or whatever, then that's different. And I'm not saying for sure this is legit or going to come out, but I think it probably will. And the reason why, there's no way they'd be pushing all this if they didn't have the licenses shored up. And I don't think SNK would hand this license over unless these guys had proven that they have the resources to bring this to market. I mean, think about it from SNK's perspective. It just does not make sense. They could license to Arcade 1-Up all day long. Arcade 1-Up's a known quantity. For whatever reason, could be money, could be perceived quality, could be anything. They chose not to do that, and they're going with another lesser known company. So nobody seems to know what Unico is. I didn't know what it is. It's some brand from an organization called G-Stone Group. Didn't know what G-Stone Group was. Established 2004 for a love of retro games, and they apparently have done other products. Don't know what those other products are. Don't really know how much I care. And the bottom line is going to be, if this thing comes out, we're going to know right away if this is quality or not. I'm going to reserve judgment, but early on, the product does look somewhat interesting. And for $500 to get 50 games, that's compelling. Now, I was asked in a comment yesterday, why does this thing have 6 buttons? Because the MVS cabinet only had 4 buttons. And that is a very good question. And you can see they've got the colors here. And I think if I remember correctly, my Neo Geo, the red button is A. I think this is B, and then C and D. So it's like a weird lineup if you're going to do, because it's almost like the buttons are in a line. Really, if you kind of turn your head a little bit, you can kind of draw a line. Then these white buttons are extra. So why the heck are they there? And why isn't this laid out truly in a line like the. Then I had to think back. Did the AES have a 6-button controller? I mean, they had all those fighting games, but no, they had a 4-button controller. So it's a good question to raise, and the question is why is this 6-button? Is it maybe for modders in the future? Yeah, I don't know. If I ever get a chance to talk to the company, that's my first question. Why do you have a 6-button? So the answer is we don't know. If you guys know of any Neo Geo games that use 6 buttons, let me know. I'm not a Neo Geo expert, but I can't think of any, and I wasn't able to find any in my research. The other big question, other than where can we buy it, because that's not posted yet on their site, is this truly a 15-inch wide situation? So it says on their website the specs are 15 inches and some change of width. But Arcade 1-Up is quite a bit wider than that, specifically 19 inches wide. And some people complain that's not wide enough for 2 players. I think it's okay, but not lots of extra space. If this is really 15 wide, then this could be tricky for actually playing 2 people. And now that I really look at this proportionally, it does look pretty narrow. We know this is a 17-inch monitor, and we know there's a fair bit of bezel here. Well, a typical 4x3 17-inch like television, for example, is about 16 inches wide, and that's with a little bit of bezel. So I'm thinking this is at least 17 and a half wide, and that those dimensions are a misprint, but don't know that for sure. So there's definitely some questions, but I do think there are reasons to be a little bit excited if you're a Neo Geo fan. I kind of am. I'll be honest. $500 for this isn't looking too bad. Again, if the emulation's good, we know it's going to have scan lines, which is kind of cool. Let me know what you guys think below. I'm sure there's going to be more news on this soon. They seem to be activating their PR folks, so things are in motion. If it's going to come out, we're going to know more about it real soon. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.
Dripping lights paint the sky.